that you're going to be specifically looking for?
I mean, I'm going to be looking for FaZe to continue their consistent push to win this tournament. They've been so good through this entire weekend, and not to mention the days prior. They've just been ultra consistent. They've just been slow rolling, winning game after game, not to mention always placing very well. But I would love to see Liquid push for this. They have so much riding on this tournament. They're a newer team. This is their first LAN appearance, and they've had such an incredible performance. I'd hate to see it go to waste.
It really is. We have to just remind ourselves for all the success that Liquid has brought to this tournament that really most of these players in this team, it's the first time LAN experience. Except Scoom, all these other 3 players are really experiencing it for the first time. They're just really expressing their excitement, all the differences they feel from a LAN tournament compared to the online tournaments they have thrived upon. But coming in here, finding so much success in the earlier parts of the tournament, they want to really kick it up and try to finish off the tournament strong.
I mean, they still have the record for 3 wins in a row. That's not been seen on LAN or in regular competition from what I understand. But for them, it's now about just getting over that initial LAN nerves. That's something that we haven't really covered through this tournament, is that for a lot of these guys, this LAN nerves, that nervousness that comes with live performance hasn't really been reckoned with. We've seen all these teams that have really poor first starts having much better day 2, day 3. So we'll see if Liquid can get over these jitters, get out of their slump, and we're going to take a look at this first initial plane path, fairly neutral, and giving teams a lot of options for landing here.
In a completely diagonal flight path, Moses, as we do see the southeast to a honking northwest, as we do see the Vitality feeling very good about their win they received today, but FaZe came up running to pick up their win of their own in Game 2. So now Game 3, the focus has really been on Liquid this entire time. Maybe FaZe creeping up as the second place until they got the first place position after Day 3. But now we're at the final day. FaZe is up on first. Liquid is second, but not getting much attention because of the lack of aggression we've seen. But Vitality coming in at third. What is this circle? I usually do not like to interrupt my own sentences, but you guys are in for a treat when you look at the minimap of where we see the next circle.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of Vitality and looking at the circle, it's going to be very, very difficult here. This is likely going to be a military base ending. You can already see the rotations coming in from 4AM and Vega. This is not going to leave a lot of playing space for these teams, so early rotations are likely going to be the name of the game here. So teams like Ghost and especially Liquid and FaZe are going to have to make those early starts, giving up very valuable loot here in the early game.
It really is. The early rotations have found more success than the later parts of the rotations here, but you talk about FaZe and Vitality coming from Milta Power and Milta respectively. They do have to make the hard crosses around the bridge where IFTY, Vega will be a little bit over there as well. 4AM's holding down the Milta base all to themselves, so it's going to be a lot of teams they have to go over before they can make the safety rotation onto the safety circle, which is consisted of almost 60% water, as if I can calculate.
Yeah, and we've seen now, this is a question that we have to ask ourselves. There are teams that are going to be looking to get as many kills as possible and improve their standings. If a team like 4AM or Vega or even one of the middling teams, Athletico comes to mind, if they leave Pachinki and set up a potential bridge camp, that second zone might be a huge issue for teams trying to cross if they come late. So I'd be interested to see if that tactic is going to appear here, because the amount of buildings is going to be so few and far between. The centering strategy just is not going to work in this game.
Incredibly interesting to the fact that we haven't had a circle as drastic as this, something from the very first circle of the game, but you know, the last 3 games, they do have to find a lot more surprising factors that we're going to see. You know, Vega and 4AM, we haven't seen many true conflict coming from military base. But, you know, Vega making the sound now, 54th on the motorcycle, does kind of expose himself on audio-wise as 4AM. A lot of the members are hiding behind them, but that little X-Factor game didn't work out.
Yeah, so for 4AM, I'd be interested to see if they're going to have the advantage here. They've been here the longest. Vega showing up a little bit late. I would imagine that Vega is going to take the garage compound where you can already see Vampire Games hanging out. I would imagine that from here, they're going to want to hold this choke point. So allowing themselves a little bit of vision on teams transitioning over the bridge. I would like to see a little bit of aggression there out of them, as Vega is still trying to break into the top 9.
And look at a Vanguard here, Nuktiv. very far away from their home location in North Georgia Pole. He's going to make the first track, going to cross the bridge first and try to find out just about how many number of enemies will be around that bridge. But we also see a Luca from 4 AM kind of doing the same of trying to just drive around, trying to use the utility, kind of the mobility that you can get with these vehicles. But 4 AM, another strong team coming from China.
Looking at Avangar on the mini-map, and you might not be able to see this just yet as we're taking a look at Luca, the player from Avangar and Octave has actually stopped on the bridge around the little choke point there. There is a small building for him to hold. So Avangar might be the ones to try and set up a bridge camp here, or at least scout players who are coming across early. And
it has been the conflict of Vega and 4 AM in this military base. We saw some shots coming down from Maxazor, didn't really connect anything through there, but Entis Ace, Christus is going to make the early entry, trying to be the initial scout to provide information to his teammates. Getting a few shots along his way, but there's not really knock to any significant damage that does trouble him anything. But Christus is going to provide information that shots have been coming through from that specific angle, and that's going to be good information going for Entis Ace.
Avangar getting a knock there on it. Tavello. This is going to be a situation where he's going to be trying to control this bridge. Tavello going down, GOL having a very difficult time through this tournament dealing with any level of aggression, and GOL is going to be hunted, I would imagine, by some of these teams looking to pick up some easy kill points. So for them, they're going to have to stop here, and he's going to try and peek out on Pongo.
And right now, GOL, very low health and still going to try to get out the gatekeeping opportunity, but it really doesn't come through. Where Obang, he tried to go for the kind of the kill there with all the two people riding down at the motorcycle. He's going to try again with Enino from Vega trying to drive up with the UAC, but I think he has to heal up first before he can do anything.
So an Octave will finish off Tavello, so that is going to be the first death of this game. Now for Avangar, they are an aggressive team, and they will set up strategies that are maybe a little bit off the radar for some of these other teams. So I'd imagine to see that if Avangar is going to make a move, that the bridge camp might be it. And
really trying to just track how many teams are crossing with an Octave, the only member in Avangar, trying to make this cross here. And Sungjang coming from Entis Ace along with his teammates, now going to be the second member to try to cross the bridge, in addition to some people, and also Christus having made the cross already. So Entis Ace makes a very early rotation from their farm starting location. Now they're in military base.
So now looking at the map, we will see IFTY setting up a bridge camp on the other side. So all of these teams looking to get the superior position. There are a ton of players now having to transition into the next zone. IFTY having control of the eastern bridge, the west also being controlled as well. So it's going to be a matter of trying to get across this bridge safely, and neither one is going to be easy.
And thing of unexpectancies, we're trying to find out, in addition to the kind of weird circle we had for the very first one of the game, we're seeing Liquid still in Yasnaya at a squad of 4. Usually we like to see Liquid kind of go for the early rotation, trying to get a good position early, but they have opted for the later rotation for this specific match.
So it looks like Xiaozhu was able to exit his vehicle as it goes up in smoke, but GOL, for some reason, opting to take the same route. He does have cover from Obang, but he had to have communicated to his team that this was being guarded. So that is another loss for GOL early in this game.
And 2 members left remaining, as we do see Avangar from one side and also Obang from the other side doing double gatekeeping duties. And we're going to see Avangar trying to reinforce themselves and kind of combine the units that they have been missing from North Georgia Pole. We see Drainey's kind of joining in with an Octave, and Mumino and Keen's going to be coming from the Georgia Pole now on their vehicles together. So it's going to be a 2-2 split for Avangar for the time being, and still, I think they're just trying to add members and to reinforce the gatekeeping duties.
Yeah, I would imagine that for Avangar, they know that to get up into the top 4, top 5 area, that they need to be aggressive, pick up as many points as possible, and that includes a ton of kills. So Avangar is going to reinforce this bridge camp and make sure that no one can get past them unscathed.
It really is, and I'm going to see how teams decide to make the travels north, because at the moment you can get to military base in a couple of ways, and here's one way to do it with Mixie. I mean, the only one in and there's another way to do it.
So I like the stunt from Moody, launching the bike into the ocean. Now we've seen a bunch of teams already out in the water. We see FaZe here collecting members in the boat. This is going to be a 4-man strong landing here for FaZe on the boat. So I imagine they're going to try and come around the bottom half of the island. TSM doing the same thing, split out into several boats. Smack riding with APR and Vis also by himself, and we see Captain going down for 4AM.
And such an extreme circle means that he's not even going to go for the kill here. It seems like IFTY, oh, he's getting shot at from the other side. Kind of noticed that before he went for the kill. Went way to get away from the aggression here, but TK Zun getting the knock onto one of the members of 4AM. That's going to be a trouble for one of the Chinese teams.
Yeah, so IFTY, having moved off the bridge, this is going to open up a passageway for all of Ghost and Vitality to try and cross. But looking at Vitality, they are actually holding a bridge camp on the eastern side. So we'll see if they can pick up some kills here as IFTY is taking a ton of damage here.
Oh, and TK Zun! We thought he was going to be doing all right, but all the shots could not be endured as he does go down in a knock and does go for a kill with Vega Vampire Game. Finishing him off in the end. Another kind of gatekeeping duties now, this time cutting out Roxy and the rest of Vitality. Profi is going to go for the kill here and might just get it. Just one ought to do it. And he does get the final shot on it. That will be down for one of the members of Vitality.
So Vitality, I'm not sure being surprised there if they decided to transition and just got caught out, but that is one down for Vitality. And for a team trying to win this tournament, that is a disaster to start this game.
It really is, and we talked about the various movements and various methods of getting your mobility down to the military base. Most people are opting for the cross to one of the two bridges. We saw Vitality trying to go for the right side of the bridge and did not work out with Roxy getting cut off early, but you see a fight opening out here with Vega and IFTY.
Yeah, it looks like Vega is going full aggressive on IFTY, and unfortunately for them, they will be the first team eliminated here in this 18th game. So that is a nice pickup for Vega, who's going to try and hold on to that compound as best they can.
I mean, we see Avangard. They're here once again with more and more members, but they're going to just keep with their current jobs of trying to go with the occupation of gatekeeping duties still on this left bridge where most teams are going to be crossing. And we see Liquid still making the entrance. They have not even get close to the current bridge so far, so they need to make a little bit of movement. And Avangard, I think they're going to be looking for more kills.
Avangard now moving up towards GOL. They are going to be taking that mid-bridge position, a very powerful spot to hold. Great vision there. A lot of lines to be able to shoot on oncoming vehicles. So for now, it's just a matter of clearing out the remnants of GOL.
We're going to see how that really comes into, because GOL and Avangard are both aggressive teams who like to just kind of keep going on with the aggression, and we see the circle that is going to be closing down to, and the second circle is still going to consist of a lot of water, but a lot of centralization means that we're not going to get 100%.
Yeah, and we are seeing that basically a dead center shift here. Avangard still holding control of this bridge, but they are receiving some pressure. I believe that was a trade with GOL, so Keen will have to come up here and res Inactive. They have cleared out GOL, so that'll be another team eliminated here. Frolicker and C9 transitioning underneath the bridge, but for now, Avangard is going to be holding the best possible choke point in this next zone. That centered point is going to make it very difficult and a lot of pressure on the military island and for those who aren't across yet.
And really, difference maker that might come from Avangard being in such a strong position in the middle of the bridge. Drain is going to get himself away to the bottom side just to get a little more scouting area done, but you saw the kind of the rush that went from Inactive trying to bait out the two members of GOL who did peek out for the other three members of Avangard to finish them off. So end of the road for GOL for this specific game. But Liquid, this is a team that's still in the northern part of the bridge, haven't crossed to the military island quite yet. To be fair, there's still a lot of water and a little bit of the mainland Erangel still at play.
So Tempo maybe looking to spring a trap here. Maluk hearing the vehicles moving out from Liquid. This could be a very important engagement. Liquid cannot lose this fight. They need to be able to take it to Tempo, but Tempo is pressing the aggression. Both teams in the same position right now where they need to take and win fights to be able to secure those higher positions. But this could go very disastrous for Liquid if they get caught, and it looks like they will be able to get away from Tempo in this instance.
And really, you're going to see that if the gatekeeping duties will bother Liquid on their cross, we saw Avangard kind of just retreat away from them, make themselves count in the safety circle. But we saw Liquid kind of crossing now with 4AM trying to cross out where their current position is, still at the military circle where they started. They're going to be going up against Athletico here. Pongo and Cry going to be on those compounds on the defensive positions, where Luca and the other two members of 4AM still in here trying to get the picks on.
Yeah, so it looks like God V has spotted out Pongo down in this shack. He's just seeing the slight peek there. He will land a shot with the Kar 98. Pongo having to med immediately. 4AM actually pushing some aggression on to Atletico. This is going to be a pickup for 4 a.m. A team we've seen some signs of life, but have had a couple of difficult games.
4 a.m. going on the extreme aggression here. Luca getting the kill onto Pongo, and the knock will come through, and that will be the secure kill by Captain. But Uncry tries to fight back, but does not really lead to many more knocks that they need. Uncry is going to go down as well. So 4 a.m. very successful in the rush here.
Yeah, so 4 a.m. is going to be able to pick this up. Atletico was split. So for now, they're kind of wondering if there's anyone here left, and it's not going to be the case. So they will get the res. Luckily for everyone else, Avangar has given up the position on the bridge and to opt for a compound. So the bridge is now open to cross, which is going to be a huge deal for a lot of these guys who were potentially trapped on the other side.
And a big update we just got now is that Liquid just lost their one member, James. It's going to be down by Vitality Shiv. So this is going to be the defending compound that they were going to just field upon with Shadow and the rest of the members of Vitality getting the knock and kill onto James. So making Team Liquid from 4 to 3 is going to be a huge difference maker here.
Losing James is a disaster for Liquid right now, and I think I've been using that word liberally so far, but for a team like Liquid, James, one of the top fraggers in this tournament, losing him this early in the game will severely hamper Liquid's ability to trade with other teams. Having only 3 strong, Ibiza, the last fragger remaining, Scoom in the lead position, shot calling, but as far as Samty goes, he's now going to have to step up and try and frag in the absence of James. So
they did make the successful cross, Liquid, but they are still in. Having lost one member from Vitality is going to be a loss for these guys. But LG, Luminosity, a team that has seen much more improvement from day 3 on to day 4, as we do see them kind of pulling out the critical here, but they're going to be in a weak position when it compares to TSM, who can look them from downhill.
Yeah, it looks like TSM will be the ones to spot out LG trying to climb the rocks here. We will get a little bit more of a right of center circle, so a lot of water coming out. Now the options are going to diminish here for Tempo. They will have to cross. Liquid holding in a split position right now. Scoom is split away from Ibiza and Samty, so they're going to have to try and find a way to regroup. But it looks like TSM losing a player to LG right now so far. Break has been knocked, but that will alert the rest of the team that LG is trying to climb these rocks. So they're going to have to get this res off and then deal with the on-break of LG.
We thought initially that LG might have been on the weaker position, but TSM Break gets knocked away. Getting the kill doesn't really happen so far. He doesn't get res quite yet. So see, Bebe is the one that initially knocked Break in the first place. I was going to try to look for opportunities to prevent AMPR from getting the res on the Break.
So as far as TSM is concerned, they are having to use utility to block the line of sight from the compound to their south. So that is going to be a lot of utility being used early in this game where they might have to use it later. Technosh is actually harassing LG a lot Technosh is actually harassing TSM right now with that Car 98 doing damage. They're still trying to res break. If they cannot res break here, this is going to be a huge loss for TSM.
And really trying to go for the res here. You see AMPR finally doing that. Axe is going to be away from the circle. He's trying to get above the rock. You saw.
He's going to flank him. He's going to flank around these rocks. It's going to be disastrous.
Technosh did it from the left. X is trying to do that from the right side. So kind of unexpecting a break, and the rest of TSM, are they going to be able to see this? But
they're wide in the open. They're wide in the open right now. If Axe comes around, he could be destroying this entire team.
Axe
he has no idea that break is gonna, he potatoes. That just completely blew that open. Axe had the option to actually take down Break there and blow that flank wide open, but he missed his opportunity.
And that actually could have been very huge for LG, who did kind of sacrifice Technosh on the left side. We talked about Axe doing the same thing with the flank on the right side, but really just potatoes that aim coming from Luminosity and really missed a big chance to put a huge dent onto TSM.
Break literally dodged a bullet there, and looks like they are going to be able to get away from LG, but at the same time, they've got the circle at their back. So this is a position we've seen TSM in a couple of times. They're just unable to manage their time, but that's due to the pressure that they've been receiving from other teams, but they're now chasing away from the zone and having to run into a fight with FaZe and Ghost with no cover.
And here's another team that did just face another kill. Tempo Storm losing out one of the members. So they're going to be in the keeping duties trying to get out Myth as much as they can. It's still not going to cross the bridge. They're both outside the play zone at the moment. So in addition to Tempo, Myth, all these teams still have to make their little bit of movement, kind of abandon the gatekeeping duties and make themselves into the circle. But you're going to see Maluk and also your boy Dre trying to get some damage onto Myth as they try to make the late entrance. But really going to go punish here because we see Myth. Escalucia is going to go down in a kill, but I'm really having a hard time with Myth trying to make the circle entrance.
Yeah, so Myth is being held on the bridge. Tempo has them completely zoned right now. Tempo is going to have to move unless they want to take circle damage, so they're going to probably jump in this UAS and get away from there. So while Myth is damaged and healing, Tempo will move out, opting for the better position in the new zone, and they can take this fight a little while later. Just taking a look at the minimap, TSM is being funneled right into Ghost, holding a compound in front of them. So if we could take a quick peek at that, see how they're faring as Tempo sets up to take out Myth in a little while.
It really is. And Myth taking huge damage from that, just from the two members up Tempo, who are the only ones left remaining. Of course, this being one of the top teams at the moment, they're looking to go 4-man strong as well. But this circle that came through from the very beginning of this game made it so difficult for many teams to do so. Now, we don't see many teams with 4-man strong at the moment.
So TSM looks, oh no, they're dropping down. So they're going to have to use the coast area now because they know that they can't push on this compound out of cover. So they're going to have to drop into the ocean, taking fall damage. But 9XT still trying to get into this next zone. He's basically trapped out there, medding in the blue. Axe is back there as well, so LG in rough shape, but for TSM, they've taken a lot of circle damage as well as fall damage, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on their meds in the beginning of this mid-game.
But really just an incredibly weak position that TSM just put themselves in addition to trying to avoid the circle damage. Now Vis and AMPR, they're going to be in a situation where they cannot climb back up with much difficulty. There's going to be a lot of teams looking down on them.
Ghost has the perfect position right now. They basically ensure that no one is going to be able to push their compound. Ghost will have to leave shortly. TSM is going to circumvent them on the coastline, but now TSM is going to have to figure out a way to get up. And for now, it's going to be LG likely being eliminated here, as it's not going to be either the blue, as we see Myth go out as well. But Axe is going down very quickly. He's been knocked. That is not quite LG eliminated. They still actually have 2 up. But for now, they are in a lot of trouble as Ghost is going to vacate this compound.
Now, Ghost has to get out of this building, but also TSM, they have to swim towards this next safe zone, and it's going to be a long swim to get there because Enta's going to be waiting in the bottom parts of that map as well. So if they're going to run into them, you see Sungjang, you see some people, Christis, kind of just waiting for them at the plant. You see them kind of reaching towards that direction, seeing if anyone does pop up, but I think Enta's going to move on here. But Avangard, once again, a very strong position, kind of at the edge of the circle. It's going to be vacated away from everyone else at the moment, kind of in the northeastern part of the circle.
Looking at the overall map, we can see that C9 has the centered compound with Avangard, the second best spot. The coastal area is going to be inhabited by BB with LG, so there is one guy for LG in the zone as we see Ghost pushing onto Entis.
And Ghost made the late entrance into the circle, but throws a good grenade to get some people out of there. And the knock will eventually lead to a kill. Some people really not having much place to go. It's all about Entis. Can they make the aggression to come back and try to fire some counter shots? But they're just going to be passively running away from this entire situation.
Looks like TSM has picked up a boat and they will lose AMPR. The vehicle will go up and TSM is eliminated in 13th place. That is a heartbreaker for TSM. The vehicle woes continue.
And you have to imagine, it's the vehicles all the time. And you would have last imagined that it would be a water vehicle that ruins their chances as well, because they would have been very excited they can get the mobility out to the next circle, but making so much noise, making that visible tank, that's easy for other people to see from the top of the mountain. It really makes it tough for TSM to move forward here, but we're going to see Fuzzface and the rest of FaZe Clan, they're going to be in the 4-man strong left remaining. There's only 4 teams who have a full squad with Cloud9, FaZe Clan, Avangard, and 4 Angry Men.
And just off screen, we also saw Vitality being eliminated. That is a tremendous loss for them as well. That is going out very, very early in this game, and that's going to be a disaster for them. So ultimately, for Vitality, they're now in a position where FaZe and Liquid are both alive and potentially able to win this game. C9 does have the best spot, Avangard there as well. So looking at this next transition, it will dictate how the rest of this game will play out. So Vitality eliminated. That's a big story going into this end game.
And after having such a wonderful game 1, getting that chicken dinner to really start their day off strong, Vitality does go out pretty early, which means that the likes of Avangard, the likes of more importantly, FaZe, and also Liquid can kind of run away with the scoreboard with a good position in this game.
So now it's up to C9. They are 4 strong in the best compound in the game. They will be defending against both FaZe and Avangard. So C9, the dark horse right now, not able to win this tournament due to points, I believe, unless they might be able to get up into the top 5, but ultimately they will be playing spoiler for some of the better teams. So it's up to FaZe to displace them, Avangar as well. So we'll see how C9 is able to hold this compound.
The teams that have to make the entrance is Avangar, FaZe, Liquid, Ghost, 4AM, and Entices. Even Atletico just barely got themselves in it. Even Vega Squadron, Endenol is going to be alone on his track, swimming down just to be in that water safe zone. But you talked about Cloud9. What difference can they make to all these top teams out there? FaZe Clan is going to be entering from the right side. Liquid's going to be entering from the bottom right side as well. So 4AM now taking some shots at Tempo here, but going to get some counter shots against them as well.
So for Tempo, they're held out in this little field. They can't really do anything about it, as we see both FaZe and Avangar pushing. They know that they have to press onto this compound. Avangar is going to be very aggressive.
And a huge mistake coming from Avangar. You would have to imagine that someone would have been already in that compound, but makes a just incredibly hard rush with the car, and that just gets them from a 4-man squad all the way down to elimination.
Avangar felt like they had no choice, and they wanted to press on that compound in speed and fury, and it completely fell apart for them. FaZe is now going to try and opt to hold a vehicle push in this little open field. They're going to use the line of sight to prevent any fire onto them, so the vehicles will be set up, and they will use that as open cover. They know they can't take that compound, as Tempo Storm is also eliminated. So now it's going to be a situation where FaZe is going to have to fight in the open. Their skills will be tested.
And you see where FaZe is currently located. They got themselves on the little bit of the bottom of the hill, just on the top right side of this current circle at the moment, which is going to be away from everybody else. C9 is going to be the only one that's really close to them to make a difference, but Liquid is trying to make their entrance as well. You see the number 3 icon kind of make their entrance into the next place, but 4AM is going to be firing some shots at them as well. But we see a big picture of what we're looking here, but all of these teams are currently in the safe. So it's not going to be a matter of circle damage that makes a difference, but it's going to be about positional changes and all these shot differences that could come to change the late game.
So for C9, this next transition is going to be extremely important. There is a fairly good chance that the compound will stay in through this next zone. If it centers entirely, there will be no cover, and that will mean that all these teams will have to battle it out in the open. And we see Liquid basically taking some casualties here. Santi being killed, Skoom is down. Liquid is facing disaster here.
And after losing James on their entrance into the military down, that's going to be a huge loss. Another one coming in. Bisa kills Skoom from the explosion. Obviously, that wasn't the initial way that Skoom did go down, but in the end, a tragedy. Losing 2 members, Santi, and also Skoom goes down with Lee Bisa being the last man remaining.
So Ibiza trying to destroy that vehicle to create cover. Skoom getting a little bit too close, so accidentally TKing his teammate in an effort to save him. So now Liquid going down to 1, going into full defensive mode, and as predicted, the circle has shifted in the favor of C9 and FaZe.
It really is, and the next circle could have been the important one, and C9 still within that safe compound. It does not have to get out, just has to defend their current positions, but the only squads that are currently full at the moment with 4AM, Cloud9, and FaZe Clan, all of them are in the safe at the moment. 4AM has to make a little bit of movement, but FaZe and C9 looking in good positions.
Liquid is eliminated in 8th place. That is a tough situation for them. Not an easy circle to contend with. It is not going to be simple for anyone. Right now, Atletico, Entis, LG, and Vega are all on the coastline, with 4AM setting up their own vehicle spot just outside the center. So now it's going to be C9 riding this compound, and FaZe looking to try and displace them.
And true teams that are in for contentions for the chicken dinner are the 3 teams you see above on the table on the top left. 4AM, Cloud9, FaZe Clan, 3 of these squads are the ones that really are expected to win this whole thing, but it's going to be a lot of these Sea Dogs that you see on the top left side of the map at the moment. These are the teams that really want to just survive and try to survive as long as they can. LG being eliminated, Atletico, Entis, Vega, you see them still in the water, just trying to avoid the circle and trying to get to the safe without taking any damage.
You can see Jempty putting a lot of pressure onto 4AM. 4AM using the vehicle setup. Not a lot of cover to be able to use there. It's not quite well set up. They need to have those vehicles a little closer together for them to be effective. So popping tires to make sure they cannot reposition their vehicles. This is a smart play from FaZe Clan.
But already 4AM did make themselves into the safes for now, so it's not going to be a trouble of moving to the next part. But next circle will be a difference maker here, as we see Hexetti trying to just take out some fish here and just catch them out. Not really kills coming through, but all these teams with 1 or 2 members remaining, they're going to be the ones to try to fight for that 4th and 5th and 6th spot. But really, the top 3 is going to be the one to look at.
FaZe has basically made sure that anyone in the water is essentially out of this game. Atletico is not going to be able to get out of the water without being seen by Fuzzface. So for now, it's a matter of who makes landfall first and who does FaZe kill first.
It really is, and Vega, Atletico, and also Entis being there as well. It seems like Sungjang actually got a kill onto Nefor coming in from Atletico, so it's going to be Korean coming in, and it's going to be C9 trying to go for aggression here. Like I said, they're still in the safe until this next circle, so they really don't have a reason to get out of this compound until they see what the next circle presents.
So looking at the next transition, it is going to be in the favor of FaZe. So now C9 is going to have to push the gap over cover with utility likely onto FaZe. So it's going to be a C9, potentially 4AM, however, is still 4 up, and they are lurking towards that compound. They're going to have to come the same way, and they do down Moody.
Oh, and Moody does go down, as you did say. 4AM Godfrey getting the knock on that one. They're trying to get as much kill as possible. You see Sungjang and Hefka trying to just fight it up, but more importantly, this fight is on-centered here. FaZe going to make the huge rotation with Mixie going as the first strike on and getting in this very good position in this next circle.
So he's going to set up between the crate and his vehicle. He will be able to guard the water and pick up some crate loot, so that's going to be a big boon for Mixie. 4AM is now distracting C9. C9, I think they were able to get the res on the Moody, so that's going to be a nice pickup for them, but 4AM is essentially allowing Mixie and the rest of FaZe to set up in the last play zone. FaZe is going to have to clean up the water gang here with Heffa, Sungjang, and Enenol there in the water. So that's going to be 3 more teams that will be eliminated as 4AM is slowly being picked apart by Cloud9.
So much action does have to be focused around where FaZe and Cloud9 is at the moment, with 4AM being on the bottom part of this next circle, which makes it so difficult to make that cross without being fired at. We see already the damage coming through for 4AM as we see Moody getting the next knock onto Luca, and 4AM was going to go down. The last member standing is Gokun, and he might not stand for very long as well. He's still on the bottom part, and they receive 4AM. All of a sudden, very much in the top contention for top 3, does go down in 6th.
Yeah, so it looks like Moody was able to steal that kill from FaZe. So it looks like Atletico will be the first man onto water. Heffa, last man standing, and he is eliminated, so Atletico is out, and now it's just up to Vega. Vega just trying to swim around, but they will likely be going out here very, very quickly. So this is going to be a C9 situation with Frex pushing.
And right now, all of a sudden, they make the hard push that Yempty did not expect at all, and that's suddenly going to be the first man going down for FaZe. And is that going to lead to anything, as we see C9 still 4 members strong with FaZe now on the back foot?
Yeah, like FaZe was absolutely surprised. They were trying to shoot at Atletico. Meanwhile, C9's utility came out, and now C9 has put FaZe into a situation where they are 4v2.
And Mixie and Fuzzface still at very low health at the moment. Frex does go down, which is going to be kind of a 3v2 situation. Mixie and Fuzzface, they have to be careful, but they're going to be behind that car. Not much area to move around, so I wonder if C9 is going to make the big rotation trying to make the flank here.
So Moody's going right up to them. He's going to go full auto. He's right on top of him. He has no idea.
Oh, and Fuzzface going down, and Mixie might be the last one going down, and C9 with the beautiful flank they had with the outnumbering system. They do get the win, and the the next chicken dinner does go over to Cloud9.
So that was a very nice push. The utility came out, the path was made, and C9 pushed right onto FaZe. Full aggression. That is exactly what you need to displace the best team in this tournament so far. So C9 stealing one from FaZe there, and that is going to be a big favor for Liquid, but FaZe still getting that second place. But this top 5 is very different than what we've been seeing this whole tournament.
When we talk about the top 3 teams that we've been looking at so far, FaZe going to be getting